Conor Benn wins a 6-round points decision over Cedric Paynaud. For those of you who haven't seen this fight, I strongly recommend that you do. It's on YouTube, just look it up. Because I can honestly say, and I have been watching boxing for best part of 30 years, I can honestly say that this is the best 6-rounder I have ever seen in my entire life. No exaggeration. And when I say the best 6-rounder, I'm talking about the best fight I've ever seen that's been scheduled for 6 rounds. This right here, Conor Benn versus Cedric Paynaud, is the best one I've ever seen. Let's talk about it. Ben came out in the first round aggressive, looking for the big shots, definitely not thinking about defense. Midway through the round, he gets clipped with a straight right hand to the jaw, shakes him up, drops him quite heavily. He gets up, starts swinging for the fences. He manages to get a few shots back on his opponent, but he's still getting clipped. He goes down a second time in the first round. This time I think it was from a right and a left to the head against the ropes. Gets up from that, manages to recover. Second round, more of the same. In fact, this was a case of Conor Benn maybe getting caught cold in this fight, because sometimes you see with fighters, they get caught early in a fight and they're not really warmed up. So the punches tend to have more of a concussive effect before they've warmed up to taking the punches. But as the fight goes on, they tend to take the shots better. That was definitely the case here, because other than the first round, Paynaud never really hurt Conor Benn, sorry. He never really hurt Conor Benn. And I mentioned his dad Nigel because his dad Nigel was in some fights like this himself. Oh yes, he was. His dad Nigel got rocked and dropped by less than world-class opposition on many occasions. So bear that in mind. He really does have his dad's DNA in him. But yeah, Conor was never really hurt by Paynaud after the first round, from what I can remember watching the fight anyway. And it was a wild, wild fight. He got clipped numerous times though, even after the first round. And even though he was landing his own shots back, you just got the impression that Paynaud was maybe the more accurate of the two. And Conor Benn was wasting a hell of a lot of punches. In the 5th round, Conor Benn managed to get his own back and drop Paynaud for the first time in the fight. And then he dropped him again in the 6th. I felt like the first time that Paynaud went down, it was kind of a cuffing shot around the back of the neck. It didn't really catch him clean. There was some shots that hit him prior to that. But the actual punch that eventually caused the knockdown was kind of a cuffing punch that almost like Conor Benn's wrist hit Paynaud in the back of the neck and bundled him to the canvas. So he was maybe a little unfortunate for that to be called a knockdown, but the action was so frantic and there were so many punches being thrown. I can understand the referee maybe not seeing the fact that it wasn't a clean punch. But then Paynaud was down in the 6th, and that was a more heavy knockdown and a more legitimate knockdown. And that knockdown really, in most people's eyes, saved the fight for Conor Benn. There's a lot of controversy about the scorecard. The referee, Robert Williams, scored it 57-54. For those of you who are not from the UK, you might know that, or you might not realize that anything below British title level now in the UK, only the referee scores the fight. Okay? It used to even be British title fights only had the referee score the fight, but that got changed years ago. So now British title fights, they have 3 judges. But yeah, for this fight, it's only the referee who scores the contest, and he had it 57-54 for Conor Benn, which is pretty wide. Most people wouldn't have complained if the referee only had it to Conor Benn by a point, or even for Paynaud by a point. Because remember, both guys were down twice in the fight, and it was very competitive and back and forth all the way. But yeah, my impression was Paynaud was maybe a little less active than Conor Benn, but he was more accurate a lot of the time. And when you consider that Paynord is a journeyman, you know, he's got a record of, going into the fight, he had a record of 5-4-3. You know, 5 wins, 4 losses, 3 draws. When you think of his record, Conor Benn's performance against him was really poor. But guys who are 5-4-3 don't normally come and give that much effort. That has to be said. I don't know who this Paynord guy is. Never seen him fight before. But if he brings that type of desire to the table each and every time he fights, he's going to make some decent money in this sport. You know, he's going to be able to maybe buy a house or whatever. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater, but, you know, if he brings that kind of effort every time, they're going to keep bringing him back and putting him in against up and comers and whatnot who they really want to test. So, yeah, a hell of a fight. Make sure you guys go watch it. Unfortunate scorecard, and people are going to say, well, Conor Benn's with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, so he's getting favorable treatment. Maybe so. You let me know what you guys think about it. And let me know what you thought about the fight. Anyone who can name a better 6-rounder than that, please drop it in the comment section below. And again, don't start talking to me about, you know, whoever, George Foreman versus Ron Lyle. That wasn't a 6-rounder. I'm talking about a fight that was scheduled for 6 rounds. Not a fight that just happened to, you know, go 4, 5, 6 rounds or whatever. No, a fight that was scheduled for 6 rounds. I can't remember seeing a better one than this. If you can, then drop it in the comment section below and let me know. So, as far as Conor Benn going forward, he's very inexperienced, not only as a professional, but also as an amateur. He's going to need time. He's only, what is he, 20, 21 years old? Something like that. Very, very young kid. I think he's got potential personally. I think he's got punching power. I think he has been improving. One thing we know about him is that he's got heart, just like his dad. He's got fighting instincts, just like his dad. You see, for example, somebody like David Price. I know I talk about David Price a lot. I love watching David Price fight. But David Price doesn't have natural fighter's instincts. You know, when he's on top, when he's winning a fight, when he's dominating, great. But when he's actually in a real fight, you know, when he has to go toe to toe, life and death with someone, he doesn't have the natural mental makeup to be able to cope in a situation like that. Conor Benn does, as you can see. Conor Benn has a natural fighter's mentality. So with him, it's about trying to contain that natural fighter's mentality, because he could have made that fight a lot easier for himself if he simply didn't throw so many punches. If he would have just stuck to his jab. If he would have slowed down the pace. You know, maybe tried to counterpunch a bit more. But he just flew into a red mist of rage and started exchanging with this guy. And he said in the post-fight interview, he really didn't know what he was doing. He was just going on pure instinct, and you could tell he was just pure instinct. Again, just like his dad. So, yeah, I think he has potential. There's a long, long way to go. I'm certainly not going to write him off yet because he's just a very, very young kid. So let's give him time and see. A lot of people have said that they think he needs to go down a weight because he's not really a welterweight. And I've felt this also myself, that he's not really a welterweight. He certainly doesn't look the most ripped at the weight that he's at, well, you know, which is currently welterweight. So maybe he could get down a little bit smaller. We'll see. But that isn't necessarily always the answer to every problem, going down in weight. The issues in this fight were more technical issues and strategic issues rather than weight issues, in my view. Because, you know, yeah, he got clipped and this guy did hurt him. I'm telling you, some of these journeymen who don't have great records, they can punch. I keep telling people this. Don't get it twisted. Some of these journeymen with poor records can actually punch. Not most of them, but some of them. And certainly this guy managed to clip Conor Benn on the chin. And again, I think he was caught cold. He hadn't warmed up to taking the punches yet. After the first round, he really wasn't hurt by this guy. And the guy did catch him clean many times. throughout the fight. So yeah, the weight thing, maybe he should move down, but I don't see this particular fight as an indication that he needs to move down. You know, he just needs to address the technical issues, and he'll grow from a fight like that. He'll actually learn from a fight like that. Next time he's in a fight like that, he should be a bit more calm because he remembers what happened last time, you know? Anyway, people, let me know what you thought about the fight. Was it the best 6-rounder you've ever seen? Where do you see Conor Benn going from here? Who would you like to see him fight next? Do you think he should change his training setup? Let me know how you feel. Thank you for watching. This Hatman, I'm out.